Naoya Inoue has officially started training for his upcoming fight against Akhmadaliev, and fans are already buzzing with excitement. Known for his power and speed, Inoue is putting in the work every day to make sure he's in perfect shape. His training sessions are intense, focused, and packed with exercises designed to sharpen every part of his game. He begins with pad work. A classic exercise that helps him practice combinations, timing, and accuracy. Every punch has a purpose, and he moves around quickly, making sure each strike lands cleanly. This is where he hones his precision and sharpness, drilling combinations that could make a huge difference once he's in the ring. Next comes short bursts of shadow boxing. Inoue does rounds at a time, concentrating on movement, footwork, and throwing punches without any equipment. He then switches to bursts where he pushes himself even harder, focusing on speed and reflexes. These quick sessions help him react faster and stay light on his feet during the fight. The heavy bag is another crucial part of his routine. He hits it for short intervals, letting out powerful punches that build strength and stamina. After that, he does powerful and short bursts, really going all out to make sure his punches are explosive. The bag work teaches him to generate maximum power with every hit and keeps his arms and shoulders in top condition. Sparring is where everything comes together. Inoue spends several rounds working with a partner, practicing real fight scenarios while keeping his focus sharp. He also does small bursts during sparring, pushing his limits to simulate the high-pressure moments of a real fight. These sessions help him adapt quickly, read his opponent, and deliver precise punches under pressure. Finally, Inoue focuses on hand speed. He performs exercises lasting for a short time to push himself to the limit. These drills sharpen his reflexes, coordination, and reaction time. Every lightning-fast movement is designed to ensure that when the bell rings, he can strike faster than anyone expects. When it comes to the upcoming clash between Naoya Inoue and Murodjon Akhmadaliev, Teddy Atlas has a lot to say about what makes this fight so intriguing.
MJ. I'll say it again. MJ. And I'm not talking about Michael Jordan.
That's right. Well, MJ, the WBA interim champ, we know the king at 122 is the monster, Inoue.
He sees Akhmadaliev as a very smart, calculated fighter, someone who doesn't throw punches recklessly and always picks his moments carefully. That approach could make him competitive against Inoue, even though Inoue is known as a monster in his division. Atlas points out that the way Akhmadaliev controls distance, uses his legs, and times his punches could create a real challenge for Inoue, and that's what makes the matchup so interesting.
What's he, 15-1 now?
He's 14-1 now with 11 knockouts, and since his only loss, he has won 3 fights in a row, all 3 by knockout now.
Yeah, his only loss was a split decision to a former world champion, Taplius.
Yes, a 2-weight world champion. That loss, as you said, came in 2023, Marlon Taplius.
And it was a split decision. Look, this guy is a guy with the amateur background. He's got the amateur pedigree. This is a mature, serious, solid guy. Physically strong. He's a southpaw. He's a good puncher. He doesn't waste anything. He's very deliberate in his approach. He slowly, takes the air out of the room by carefully putting pressure on. He's not reckless. He's got good legs. He controls range really well, going in and out, changing range. That helps him defensively. It helps him offensively.
Atlas also highlights that Akhmadaliev's selectivity is part of what gives him a shot. He throws punches at the right time, with accuracy and precision, rather than constantly trying to overwhelm opponents. Against someone like Inoue, who can punish mistakes immediately, this careful approach might be the key to staying in the fight. Atlas even teases that if Akhmadaliev stays smart and doesn't overcommit, he could make Inoue work harder than expected, turning what might seem like a straightforward fight into something much more unpredictable.
He doesn't waste anything. As my son said, got good eyes. He places punches really accurately, especially to the body. He throws a beautiful left uppercut to the liver. Beautiful. From the southpaw position. Usually you see that punch from the orthodox position with the conventional left hook to the liver. He does it with a left uppercut to the liver. He gets range. He delivers it again very accurately, flawlessly. He is a serious guy. He's not the busiest guy in the world, but that makes him a problem too. I kind of laughed. One of the commentators, I don't know who the guy was, but the blow-by-blow guy, I had to laugh when he said, "Oh, hey, this will never work against Inoue." What are you talking about?
At the same time, Atlas warns there are risks. He notices that when Akhmadaliev retreats too many steps in a row, it could open opportunities for Inoue to close the distance and land counter punches. Timing and positioning will be crucial, and every small movement matters. That hint of vulnerability is part of the tension. Fans don't get to see everything in the analysis because a moment of hesitation or a tiny mistake could completely change how the fight plays out.
The one thing I see a problem with his legs, and I gave him nothing but kudos for his legs. Now I got to give him a little correction. His legs are good, but he goes back too many steps in a row back. He'll go back 2-3 steps in a row. You don't do that. You don't do that. When you go back 2-3 steps in a row, you give a guy like Inoue and he'll pick up on it. Oh my goodness, he'll pick up on it fast. Where he'll follow you. He'll follow you tight. Not follow you loose where you go back and you can counter him coming in, but he'll follow you tight. Whereas you go back 2-3 in a row, you're still in that track, you're still on that path of straight in front of him, he'll catch you. You should go back 1 step, then counter, then get off to the side, then move your head, something. But you can't go back 2 or 3 in a row. with the wrong fighter, you could pay a price, and Inoue would probably be the wrong fighter too.
Finally, Atlas emphasizes the danger and excitement of the matchup without giving it all away. Akhmadaliev has shown he can dismantle opponents methodically, but Inoue is a whole different level. The fight could swing on one well-timed punch or a perfectly placed combination. Atlas seems to suggest that it's not just about power or speed, but about brains, strategy, and patience. That combination makes the fight feel electric before it even starts, leaving fans guessing how the battle between these two styles will unfold.
That's what I saw. He does zero in on the left. He throw the right hook too, which could be the most dangerous punch for a southpaw because orthodox fighters aren't used to seeing the right hook come from the peripheral that it comes from with the southpaw. So that could be a dangerous punch. He uses that too, but he loves the left hand to the body and then down the middle. That is his go-to. That's his go-to. That's the one he's looking to catch you with. And Inoue's going to know that. Inoue's going to look to take that away from him. But I give him a shot in that fight. I give him a shot.
While Teddy Atlas breaks down the technical side of things, Joel Diaz gives a very different but equally important perspective on the upcoming Inoue versus Akhmadaliev fight. For him, it is not just about tactics and styles. It is about getting to know the fighter up close and seeing what they're made of. He points out that the matchup is already official for September 14th, and while some fans view it as one-sided, he sees a lot more to it due to his knowledge of MJ's background and skill set.
You just mentioned earlier MJ has that fight in Mexico. It's looking like a stay busy kind of fight. We've heard that the fight with Inoue is official. Is it confirmed?
They said it is. I don't know. I mean, they already announced it. They said it's September 14th. So.
Diaz makes it clear that you cannot compare MJ to his stablemate Ramon. He explains that Ramon is right-handed and smaller, while MJ is a bigger, stronger, more technically polished fighter who comes from an Olympic background. MJ has fought styles from all over the world and has gone up against the best of the best in amateur boxing. That experience, he says, is what gives MJ a real shot at making things tough for Inoue. Diaz stresses that this kind of pedigree is not something you can overlook, and it is why he feels MJ stands apart from others in the division.
What has MJ said about that fight, and how does he feel about his chances?
Look, you're talking about two different fighters. Ramon is totally different from MJ. MJ is lefty, Ramon is righty. Ramon is a smaller than MJ. MJ is a bigger, solid, more solid fighter with more technique. He was an Olympian, remember. MJ has fought every style around the world because he was an Olympian. He was a silver medalist, bronze medalist, whatever. He's fought the best of the best in the world. That's why MJ has.
The coach also touches on something very real behind the scenes. With fighters he can motivate in his own language, the connection is straightforward. With MJ, there is a language barrier. Diaz admits it takes a little more effort to get through to him in training, to push him in the way he can push his Mexican fighters. But even with that challenge, he says MJ's natural speed, power, timing, and international experience more than make up for it. In other words, the tools are already there, and the job is simply sharpening them for the moment of truth.
A better chance than Ramon. The only difference between us and MJ is the language barrier. To talk to him the way I can talk to a Mexican fighter that grew up with me, to motivate him in my language is different than just saying davai, the rabota, like work, No, it's different. So that's the only issue, the only factor that we're gonna have to work around. But I just think that MJ, it's faster. He is really hard as well.
One of the most striking things Diaz highlights is MJ's mindset and the culture inside his camp. He talks about how his fighters often tell each other that they will never fight unless the stakes are so high that it changes their lives. There is respect and loyalty, but also an understanding that boxing is a business. If the opportunity is huge and it benefits both, they would consider it, but never out of rivalry or bad blood. It is about family, providing, and mutual respect. This attitude shows how grounded MJ is as a person, and how he separates the fight game from personal friendships.
Yeah, in boxing, obviously the boys have talked about it. If one of them gets a title, they'll serve it up.
No, they talked before. It's like, for example, they said before the fight, Ramon said it. If I win this fight, if I beat Inoue, I will not fight MJ. I will not fight. I will not fight a stablemate. You know, he's my friend. He's my team. He says we would talk about it if it's beneficial for both. If, for example, they said, hey, they're gonna give me $1 million, they're gonna give him $1 million. Hey, MJ, let's do it. Yeah. Hey, let's take care of our families. You know, right. I mean.
But not everyone is Team MJ when it comes to Floyd Mayweather. Well, even he respects what Inoue brings to the table. Mayweather pointed out how Inoue faced Nonito Donaire, an aging legend, and while he won, it wasn't a flawless performance. But that's what makes Inoue so fascinating. He learns, adapts, and comes back even stronger. Floyd admitted that Inoue's style takes inspiration from his own, controlling the pace, staying calculated, and breaking opponents down over time.
The kid from Japan, Inoue. So when you see, he got the victory over Cool Boy Steph. Cool Boy Steph, he's not a heavy puncher, good boxer. But far as, you know, Inoue, it was a Filipino fighter he had fought twice, Donaire. So Donaire was giving him fits in the first fight. And if I'm not mistaken, Donaire was somewhere close to 40 or 40 years old when he fought him the first time. Whereas, and he was in his 20s. So he should have knocked him out.
Mayweather knows Inoue has that special quality, that ability to turn a tough fight into a win. And when you combine that with Inoue's relentless work ethic, it's hard to bet against him, especially against a fighter like Akhmadaliev. Sure, Joel Diaz is cooking up a strategy, and Akhmadaliev is no pushover. But at the end of the day, the monster from Japan has a way of making the impossible look routine.
In the first fight, fighting a guy, you know, like I said before, you know, at that age. What I need Inoue to do is, I need him to come fight in the U.S., random blood and urine testing. I think he's a hell of a fighter. A hell of a fighter. I won't take nothing away from him. Hell of a fighter. And I like him because I see he take a lot of my...
Number one for me is Inoue.
Woo! That's my number one too.
Yeah, I think that kid is like he's special. I think that kid is special. Power, speed, angles, precision. Like he has everything. I mean, his defense could get better, but he has the defense. Like his defense is more like distance than actual like high guard or like whatever. But he's more protective when there's things to worry about coming back. The times that I've seen him get caught, like against Louis Neri, it's more so I just don't respect you and I'm coming in so crazy, and he could get hit with a counter shot like in that way, which we saw. But Inoue is special, so I think he's number one.
And that's where we'll leave it. Naoya Inoue is putting in the work, and with his eyes locked on Murodjon Akhmadaliev, this camp is shaping up to be intense. Every second of his training shows just how serious he is about this fight. Let us know in the comments below who you're backing in this matchup.